Hey, everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. I am your host, Demetrius Woods, and as you can see, lovely guest here, Kyra Dobler. We're going to jump into her high school ball career, answer some open book segment questions from you guys, and then talk about life off the diamond. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I am so excited to have Kyra on with me today. We have spent a couple of hours together already, and just really excited to get into the show. So, how you doing? You excited? You ready?
I'm excited. I'm nervous.
A little nervous? You've said the word nervous more times a day than I've heard you ever. But you're gonna do just fine. So, last week, I know we haven't really talked about this, but I figured I'd put this in the segment. So, last week, after you got out of class, you sent me like a simple message, and it says, "I miss ball." Right? So, of course, that eventually led to us going out. We hit today before we started the show. Tell me what it's been like on the retired side of ball these days.
It's so weird. Like, 'cause that's all I ever did. Now I have to go to work. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's like softball's work, but it's work without like thought.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just different being in with adults.
So work. I mean, where do you work now?
I'm a server at Doc's,
At Doc's in Augusta,
Grovetown.
Grovetown.
Basically.
Okay. Are there two of them over there?
Mhm.
And so you work with your best friend,
Yeah.
right?
Delaney.
Delaney. Good deal. And so you're working, which we'll talk about that stuff a little later. But I guess what's aside from work, you say it's been a little weird. Like, how much have you thought about or like reminisced about the game since you've been done playing?
Maybe not as much as I thought I would, but I do think about it a lot. Like, I still keep in contact with my old roommate, and I see her going to practice,
Yeah.
and then now I have classes at like the campus where all the athletic fields are. So I see them,
Oh wow.
like the baseball players at least. I haven't seen any softball players. And then you just see like the athletes, like you just know when they're like the
Mhm.
athletes. So it's like, dang, that would be a little fun.
Well, I know we might touch on that with your college career here in a little bit, but I want to take it back first to the beginning, I guess, for you, and I guess more the beginning of high school, because you were at GMC Prep School. That's where you went to school. Now, were you there through like? So, when did you start at GMC?
6th grade. That's all they had. Like now they have the elementary school, but then it's like 6th grade you start. So
Okay,
all the way till I graduated.
so 7 years.
Yeah.
GMC. Why Milledgeville? You've always lived in Milledgeville, right? So why GMC? I mean, I know there's 3 or 4 high schools that you could have gone to in Milledgeville or Baldwin County in general. Why GMC?
So I mean, really, it's like my parents' choice, especially in middle school. But they always said they wanted like good education. My dad went there for like a year, but
Okay.
couldn't handle the schoolwork.
The military. Oh, okay, I got you.
Well, a little bit of that. That was more trip. Couldn't handle the discipline. But I mean, I definitely think it did help me academic wise. Like it is harder than a lot of like.
Yeah.
I think it's harder than the other schools unless you're in a certain track or something there. But yeah, they wanted the best education. They thought, Baldwin. I mean, public schools. Sometimes like there still is that little bit of
Yeah.
like roughness every now and then. But I guess my mom was worried about that too.
Yeah.
So we ended up at GMC.
So why not the private school there, which is JMA, right? So
Yeah.
was that ever a topic of conversation throughout your high school career?
No, I just never wanted to go there. Like, and I think it was. I'm pretty sure it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we paid at GMC, but we also got scholarships at GMC. Like you can get like academic or like help if it's expensive for you. So we had some. I think me and my sister both had academic to help a little bit, but it's definitely cheaper than JMA. But
Yeah.
you still get a little more than you'd get in like traditional public school.
So how was again, GMC Prep, so that's Georgia Military College, so which is a junior college there. You guys share the same campus, right? And so the prep school is high school, middle school, and now it's got lower levels
Yeah.
to it, right? Which is awesome. So what was that like being in a military school environment? Because, I mean, obviously that's all you've known,
Right.
right, for 7 years, I guess, for the middle school and high school. But what was that like?
It's definitely different, and people like I feel like they'd look at us different because like you're a JROTC kid, but
Hmm.
really you don't have an option. Like you're just going to school. Like other kids will like can choose that. We
Yeah,
just had to.
got you. Okay.
So like no kind of option. You just go to formation every morning. I mean we were out there. It's like 7:30 I think it is.
This is
And then
every day?
yeah, and then we start class at 8. We go out there. They pull the flag up every morning. We're saluting.
Wow. Like, no matter the weather?
They like to say that they bring you inside once it hits 32, but I swear sometimes we were out there. I'm pretty sure there was snow falling one day in middle school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like you'll
So
be
you got the
cold out
whole
there.
whole school's out there together.
Yeah, so the high school will stand on one side and the middle school's on the other side.
Hmm.
And so like there's battalion commander for a high school, battalion commander for the middle school. So the higher up people are standing like kind of in front of you, same for
Okay.
the middle school side, and they're like they're saying these things, you repeat it like duty honor country, ma'am, sir, whoever it is. And then
Wow.
they do the flag, they inspect your uniform, get demerits. But if your platoon leader's nice, they'll like let you off.
Yeah.
Like they won't write you up.
So did you ever get any kind of trouble, like serious trouble at all when I feel like you were a good student, but
No serious trouble. I mean, I had bullying like once or twice, and it was probably just because I was late or something.
got you.
Like never really. Now some people stayed in Bullring. They had to walk every day after school. You just walk up and down the bricks.
So bull ring is that after school?
Hmm.
Okay. And so what does that mean? What do you have to do with that?
So like y'all like line up, and then they check, make sure who's there, because we have a specific like disciplined lady who she kept in charge of all the merits, demerits, and stuff. So they put it in your portal, or like you'd see how negative you were,
Oh
and
wow.
then if you have bull ring, so you go out there and you march. And it used to be like push-ups and like worse stuff, but sometimes your favorite people running bull ring, they'll let you flip chairs, get out of there, like clean desk or
I
something.
got you. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So you mentioned your dad went there for a year. Did your mom ever go there?
No, she went to actually like a couple of different schools. Like her dad was military, so they moved a little bit, but then she kind of bounced around here. I think she went to Body Mill at one point. I know she graduated from Putnam,
Hmm.
but so I think she was in Putnam for the most part of her childhood. I think.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Gotcha. So it's obviously your mom and dad. You're the oldest of three,
I am.
right? You've got a younger sister, Allie Ray,
Hmm.
and then Trip, right? So what's y'all's family dynamic like? How would you describe your family, your humble abode?
Oh, man. Uh, so growing up, it was like daddy's always working, mama worked nights. It started to be where like I'm watching Allie and Trip sometimes. When we were little though, I used to be mean to them,
Oof.
like so mean. I guess that's part. I mean, I got to though. I think that's like a
You
thing.
gotta put him. Being the oldest, you gotta whip him into shape.
But I was too mean sometimes. But it was always like Trip and Allie, because they're so close in age. They're 13 months apart. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I
So
didn't
people
realize that.
used to think they were like twins. I mean, they both had blonde hair. I'm the only one with brown hair. I mean, they're like darker now, but blonde
Wow.
little babies running around. Trip's walking on his hands across the house. Allie's doing whatever. I remember me and Allie dressed Trip up as Tinkerbell one night.
No, you didn't.
Yep,
Poor
he'd
guy.
probably be mad, but he was in a little Tinkerbell dress. But yeah,
That
mom and
is
daddy,
rough.
like they've always been working hard and like always.
Yeah.
Daddy, I mean, he's still got 2 jobs. Mama's got a new job, but she's got a better schedule now, more like daytime. She's not,
Right.
but yeah,
Now, mom's in the medical field,
mhm,
right?
nurse.
Dad's a firefighter.
Yeah, and he works
And
at a like gas company.
Right.
Very nice.
Okay, good deal. So, and everybody's still in Milledgeville, minus you. You're in Augusta right now, which we'll talk about that in a bit. But Allie Ray, you mentioned Allie Ray earlier today.
Yeah.
She's going to be,
We're moving in together with my friend Delaney too.
which sounds exciting.
Yeah,
So,
I'm excited.
Allie Ray, Delaney, they're cool.
Oh yeah.
They get
I mean,
along.
Allie, like, I don't know why. I feel like Allie sometimes she'll still act shy about. I mean, she doesn't act shy. Like she'll talk to Delaney, but she's
Yeah.
still like, I'm like, we're all friends here. Like, Allie's one of my best friends. Like, I have two, and it's Delaney and Allie.
That's it.
Like, poor Trip, just not that we like exclude him. I feel like she's different. Like,
Yeah.
girls like Trip's off running around doing hooligan stuff. So
I got you. So to kind of bring in a little bit of softball with this. So GMC, you played middle school ball, right? All 3 years.
yeah.
Okay. And then obviously you played all 4 years of high school ball there. But I remember, of course, you and I met in your 8th grade year, I believe it was. I think it was.
Probably, yeah.
But I remember at some point there, though, around your sophomore year, we kind of had some mental struggles with the game, right? And I know that we were working together one-on-one a lot during that period. To kind of go down memory lane with that, talk us through that time. Like, how was that? Just all of it. I mean, what was that like?
That was so hard. That was definitely the hardest year, like ball wise, I guess I've ever had. I mean, not even just that, like one of the harder life years, but it was just like a growth thing. It was a struggle to get like playing time. Like I worked from basically just I wasn't good freshman year, and then I put a lot of work in, like you said, like one on one. Like we worked all the time.
Yeah.
And I just still wasn't getting a spot. And it was just mentally it's hard because it's like, what else can I do? Like I'm doing what I need to do, but it's still like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
And then it comes to a point where it's like, it's not, I don't think it's me anymore. Like,
What do you mean? So obviously there's, we only got 9 spots on the field. And I know that you were competing for one of the 3 outfield spots at that time. So in essence, in your mind, there's only 3 spots on the field that you were thinking about. When you say you didn't think it was you anymore, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's like, things are, especially school ball versus travel ball. I think school ball gets a little more like political with, not political obviously, but with playing time.
Right.
It's like, okay, this kid's parents or this is so and so, and it's like, well, I can play.
Right.
So I fit in there somewhere too.
The people that you were competing against because obviously in that time you were considered, I guess, the 4th or 5th best outfielder. Would you say that's fair?
Probably.
In the eyes of the coaching staff or whoever was making those decisions.
Right.
Did you feel like you were number 4 or 5?
So like I was number 3.
Number 3.
Like obviously I knew the other 2 girls. I mean I was fighting for right field.
Okay.
So left field, center, they're locked. Whatever. Especially center. Like she was a dog. And I'm fighting for right field.
Okay.
Like every day I'm just like, what's going on? What's going on?
Did you feel like you were tit for tat with the person that earned the spot over you? Or I guess I say the word earned. That edged you out, I guess, in terms of PT.
Well, I don't have a good memory, but I'm pretty sure like I feel like I was like nothing crazy above. Like I was still growing as a player.
Sure.
But I do think I was a step above.
Got you.
The spot I was fighting for.
And I guess, I mean, I don't have a great memory either, but I do remember our conversations during that period. And I feel like that's where the mental struggle came. It wasn't that something wasn't clicking on the field for you. It wasn't that your hitting wasn't growing. Like you were growing, but it was almost like you needed to be a rock star just to get any PT during that period, right?
And just, it was so difficult too because every time I would get put in, I'd be on edge. Like, I was so,
Yeah.
and I remember that for sure. I'd be so nervous, like, I get in, like, just to run bases. And I'd freak out because it's like, I know what I'm doing. I do it in travel ball. Like,
Yeah.
I've been working with you, like, working with the team, playing games with the team, elite, and I can do my thing. But then I come there and I act a fool. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. But it was just because there was so much pressure, but it wasn't really, like, legitimate pressure. It was because I'm sitting here, I know I can do what I'm doing, what I'm put there to do. And then I just, like, cracked, basically.
Yeah. Well, in that sense, I mean, your opportunities were few and far between, and
Right.
so you didn't have a lot of room for error
Mhm.
because your next opportunity would come 3 games later.
Yeah.
Right. So that was tough. So I guess kind of moving on from that, what motivated you to push through that period? Because obviously, I mean, we're sitting here now and you and I know the end of the story, but what, from your recollection, what motivated you to push through that?
I don't even know. Like, I just didn't want to quit. Like, I did want to quit, but I just, you don't want to quit.
Yeah.
Like, basically just trying to, find my spot. Like I'm gonna get a spot.
Right. To me, here's the thing, and I know we talked about prepping for this topic a little bit, just that slight fear of missing out, I guess,
Right.
on
That's it.
finishing your high school career and everything that comes with playing high school ball, right? You get a senior night. There's just,
It's
you
different.
get to go to state. There's a lot that you guys get to do together during that 3-month stretch each year. But beyond that, like, how do you feel about the coaching staff as a whole? For you, did you feel like at the end of that time, was that relationship better or no?
I feel like I just like, because I like my coach as a person, and I did like the other coaches. Like, you know, great. Like, some of them were rooting for me. I felt like,
Yeah.
but, and I did like my coach as a person. It's just, I think I kind of ignored it towards the end, like going through. It's just like, okay, haha. You're just like
Sure.
pushing through, and you have your people, but I'm just like dealing with, and like, great person.
Yeah.
But on
Agreed.
the softball side, it wasn't completely there for me. Like, I've always struggled with coaches though, like, for a while until elite, and then like had a rec ball coach one year that, like, I feel like really like helped me softball wise, like mentally especially.
Yeah.
But I've just struggled, like, on the coach standpoint sometimes. I don't
Just
know.
finding that
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah, I get that. So motivation, like, because to me, I look back and I go, that was such a courageous time for you, and maybe you didn't see it as courageous in the moment, but whether it was fear of missing out or fear of this or whatever, you found that exterior motivation to continue pushing through that, and you went through the grind of getting better, growing. Like, I mean, I looked at my calendar today actually, and I scrolled back to then, and we were meeting every week,
Yeah.
every single week, and sometimes it would be twice a week during that stretch. And I'm like, man, that we talked a lot, through that, and maybe our lessons were an hour long, or maybe sometimes they would go long because we get to talking, but like, I recall the picture. Um, we're out here at Lake Oconee Academy, and they just turfed their field, I think, and so I was supposed to bring a blindfold or like something to cover your eyes up with for this drill, and I only had some tape in my backpack, so whatever.
Yeah. Tape your eyes.
We taped your eyes, whatever. So what a rookie coach. Anyway, so we're doing that and we're doing this drill, and it's starting to rain, right? If you remember that, and but we're also talking, and we're still out there, and I think back to that day and just the challenges that you went through during that time in your career, and I'm going, if she gets through this, she's gonna be a problem. And again, I just obviously here we are now, and our audience may not know that you were a problem, but she was a problem, y'all. So I'll just say that for now. But so you mentioned travel ball, and I think I do agree with you on the somewhat political side of school ball. I think that can also bleed into travel ball too, unfortunately. But I think that's with any sport where um, people may or may not be either A, in it for the right reasons, or B, they may have ulterior motives, or their vision may be jaded by something, circumstances or whatever. But travel ball wise, though, your journey started when in travel ball?
Well, I started late compared to a lot of people. Like I never did that like 8U,
Yeah.
we're running around neon colors kind of thing. Like I started by 14, I think, probably. Is
So
that right?
you started with Lake Country Smash.
Mhm.
And how long did you play with Smash?
I played until I aged out at I think like 16. So
So 2 years?
yeah, probably 2 years. I
Okay.
guess.
Which they still exist now.
Mhm.
I know they're more focused on like the younger age groups, I think like 10, 12, maybe 14s still even. But so you aged out and then we met soon thereafter. I don't remember how
I don't even.
we met.
I don't know.
I know I'm pretty sure I met Emma Warnock first.
Maybe it was that.
And so that might have been the connection, or maybe, I don't know.
It could be that. That may be it.
So I can't remember. You end up with Elite Diamonds, and talk me through, because our program got going in 2019. We're still relatively young in the travel ball world.
Mhm.
So, but you were with our program since day one until you graduated. We were very much a mom and pop shop. Talk me through your time with the organization, like just what you saw evolve, and just where that kind of went to from the day that you began.
That's crazy. I can actually like visually picture the first day on the not the turf field,
Yep.
on their LOA's regular field, like the
hmm
oh, that's crazy. We were throwing. I feel like it was with Lizzie, but I'm not sure. Oh,
I
I don't
had
know.
I had a paper color coded highlighted practice plan in my gosh.
You're like checking boxes.
Yes. Crazy.
No, but oh yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. It's changed a lot in a good way though. Not
Yeah.
like a lot of growth, expansion kind of thing. Playing at higher level, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're at the highest clip that we could be at, but I
Yeah.
mean, again, that I've appreciated that growth,
hmm
and being able to, as we've said before, like if you graduate out of Elite Diamonds, like hopefully you can be proud of where you came from
Yeah.
with it, and hopefully that it was impactful enough for you that you're able to go either A to the next level or to another travel ball team or whatever, and be able to take what you learned, to there. But
hmm
because I mean, you were with the team for 4 years,
Yeah.
which is a long time.
It's crazy.
Um, I remember that last tournament, and I'm like, a world without Kyra in it, on the team, which is it was hard to fathom. But for you, what was maybe one thing with your time on Elite Diamonds that you felt like lasted with you until now?
Well, the thing that like always sticks out about like being with elite is the coaching. But I don't know if that's necessarily what you're saying. But like I was felt never felt like I was like actually believed in or like I mean I could just not say whatever, but like be whatever. Like I could actually question you, but in a positive way, like a learning way.
Yeah.
I could do whatever at practice, go all out, not have a fear of getting like yelled at or like, what are you doing? Like it's like I'm just here to work.
Yeah. So you felt like the environment was conducive for your style.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get that. So I guess in that same vein, then, with do you feel like the environment is super important then for most players, or is that just a you thing?
I think it's important for a lot of people because I couldn't if I was uncomfortable, I'm not gonna be able to perform.
Yeah.
Like I think that's definitely a thing for a lot of people, but it's like I think when we would get like we'd have, somebody new come on the team, I feel like things typically meshed like quickly.
Hmm.
I mean, unless they just had like just a different personality or something, like
Sure.
typically it would mesh. Like we had all kinds of players, I feel like all kinds of personalities and we still could work together.
Yeah.
Like no matter what season it was, I think everybody was different and we just made everything work.
I think that's been a really fun thing as a coach, to try and mesh the different personalities, and not even do it forcefully, like
Yeah.
just allow things to kind of gravitate naturally, and of course when you allow things to happen naturally, it may take a little longer, but I've always believed in organic growth
Yeah.
with
And I
things like
guess
that.
like maybe something I did learn is like how to react to specific people. Like we had so many different personalities. Like I'd know what to say to Kayla.
Yeah.
You don't talk to Coco. Like,
Yeah.
or sometimes you don't talk to Caleb.
Right.
You
Just let
just
let them be,
30 seconds. You
and they're good.
can get back in.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
it. So I get that. Cool. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. I think I know that you and I can go on and on about just the travel ball days, and we'll probably get into a little bit even more in just a second. But I think that to kind of put a bow on this topic, I feel like you are the epitome of what it looks like to kind of go through the growing pains of something, and then not have that mentality that, you know what, I'm gonna dip out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna transfer, or I'm gonna do this or whatever. And you said, no, I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna have any excuses, and I'm gonna figure out a way to get through it. And I've always admired that about you, because watching you go through that journey, and you know, again, phone calls, lessons, a few tears even at times, like that was tough. And that was, as your coach, that was tough to go through with you, right? Knowing that I'm doing everything I can to help you, um, but we weren't getting the results that we were hoping for,
Yeah.
right? And it was crazy, man. I just think about it. I know I'm getting long winded again about it, but like I'm thinking, she is literally, and y'all listen, she was literally the staple. Like I was having panic attacks about Kyra leaving the team because there had been nobody else that had ever played center field ever for Elite Diamonds, and so the idea of having to move on from that, and again, and knowing what you had to go through with school ball, again, just two opposite ends of the spectrum, and I felt like you didn't necessarily let the mentality that you had to deal with in school ball, you never let that bleed into what you were doing in travel ball. I feel like you always seemed like the best version of yourself. So again, maybe environment does matter. um and we can go on from there. We're gonna take a quick break, guys, and we'll jump right back into a few more topics. Hey everybody, thanks for pausing with us. I just wanted to highlight one of our companies, Flow Space. This is where we get an opportunity to shoot our podcast each and every single week. So grateful for that opportunity. If you're ever looking for office space to use for your business, or just to come do meetings, or just to hang out with coworkers or acquaintances, or what have you, Flow Space is the place to be. We're located right here behind Parkside Main 8 Theater in Greensboro, Georgia. So check us out online at goflowspace.com for more information. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Hope you've been enjoying it so far. So we've got a couple of various different topics that Kyra and I are going to cover here. And the first one is travel ball versus high school ball. So we've kind of got this situation where I'm seeing it all over the country, really. If you look at the numbers of travel ball players, high school players, and especially juniors and seniors more than anybody, people are starting to pick one over the other. And I'm on the fence about what I would suggest on that front. I know I'm kind of more circumstantial when it comes to
Right.
that, but what do you think about that when you see that happening?
That's what I was about to say. I feel like it definitely depends on circumstance sometimes. Like you have some schools that are just they can't compete. Like they don't have the personnel,
Yeah,
to be a competitive team. And I feel like not that it'd be a waste of your time, but it would be a waste of your time to like be there. Because I feel like you definitely can't grow in that environment. You're gonna be like stagnant there. I mean, you
yeah,
have travel ball, but I don't know. I also think that it's important to have both because school ball is just different than travel ball. Like it's a different experience playing for a school. You have your peers coming to games, like things like that. You get to, like you said earlier, like you go to state,
right,
all this stuff, and like there's that kind of goal. Versus travel ball, you have a goal, but it's like every tournament kind of thing. And I feel like it also, in a sense, if you don't play school ball, then like when you go to college, it's I feel like it may be like a little different in that sense.
for sure.
Like you'll be used to that, like people come out for this, like it's not just parents, like depending on the level.
Yes, for sure.
But
I get that. I mean, and I know travel ball is like, because like school ball to me is you're working the entire season for a goal at the end. It's
mm,
like a long tournament, basically, in
right,
comparison to travel ball. Whereas travel ball, it's 1 day, 2 days max, typically, unless you're at like a week long tournament or whatever. But
mm,
like you're getting rewarded at the end of the day or not, right away with travel ball.
yeah,
Whereas with school ball, you're kind of just chopping wood along the way. And I think both of them teach you different lessons,
yeah.
so to speak. What's your Because I mean, I've shared before with like there's a couple of situations where I'm like, I get why you'd want to quit
Hmm.
high school ball, and some of it kind of goes back to even similar examples to what you went through,
Yeah.
really that we just got done talking about, where maybe you're not vibing with the coach, which that could be school ball or travel ball.
Hmm.
But I know it's easier to switch travel ball teams than it is to switch school ball teams.
For sure.
So if you're not vibing with your school ball coach, it's like, I don't really know. I don't know if I want to move schools over that.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I
think it
mean?
would have to be something kind of like bigger.
Yeah.
Because also it's the part where you're playing for other people too. Like it's not just you have your teammates. So like if you could get past like, you know, a little something with your coach, as
Hmm.
long as it's not crazy, I think it'd be worth it to like stay here.
So you said playing for other people. For you, did you take a good amount of pride in playing for, the GMC Bulldog logo and all that? Like, were you big into just school pride or what? Like, was that a thing?
Not necessarily. Like it was never nothing crazy, but also like I think if it may be a little different if they like kept on the train of like back to back championships. Like it's like this is what you're known for.
Hmm.
Like it kind of died down with like the back to back wins when Brooker and all of them were there. But I think that may change it a little bit. But I just don't have like that big of a sense of pride. And it's also different a little bit. I feel like because it's like you go to school at a military school, so it's kind of like
Yeah.
you have that annoyance sometimes with just having to do like the extra stuff that comes with that,
Yep. Did you see that as a disadvantage though, with your opponents?
not having pride within.
No, just like the military. Like, did you ever find that a disadvantage or an advantage in some cases?
Well, sometimes we had like Raiders as a
Yeah.
sport, and it's not really a sport. It's basically like working out for competition.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't count that as like a sport. I do think it takes a lot to do it,
Oh yeah.
but I don't see it as a sport. Like it's not a GHSA sport either.
Sure.
So it's something they do within like the military schools or like JROTC programs. they got a lot of attention, and like
Okay.
other things wouldn't get a lot of attention. So it's
I
like,
see. Even when y'all were winning state titles?
I mean, I'm not sure about that as much. Like we did during that time. I mean, the facility and all that has been there for a while. So it was, I think it was like before, I mean, it was there as long as I can remember. So
Yeah.
it was probably around them or that they built that for them. But
And
yeah,
plus
I
the
mean,
junior college uses the same facility, right?
yeah, they do.
Okay.
And we got the golf simulator upstairs.
Well, there's an
Crazy.
upstairs in y'all's facility?
Yeah, it's not nothing crazy big or anything, but they have like the golf, like it, you hit it into the screen, tells you where it's going,
Yeah.
all that.
That's cool.
Yeah, like we never went up there.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. So, and again, like I said, I'm on the fence about it a little bit, just slightly conflicted, mainly because I get it, and then sometimes I'm like, but there's still, because I took a lot of pride in playing for the Putnam P. That was, again, I grew up in Eatonton, and my guys all grew up in Eatonton, and we all grew up together, and so when I looked at the Putnam P, it was more than just a logo. It was, Dee Dee,
Right.
Daryl, Bonnie, it was my senior class that I graduated with. And then the guys that came before me, you know what I mean? Just trying to push the legacy out, for as far as we can push it, you know what I mean? But I don't know. That's one that we'll table for now, but I just, it's hard for me to see where, for the majority of people, it should make sense to not do both. Honestly.
Mhm.
Because I feel like they can go hand in hand. I feel like you can, I feel like there's great advantages to having more than one voice in your ear, as long as you trust them.
Mhm.
And so I've seen where, for some players, that high school coach and that travel ball coach, what they're teaching is kind of the same, but it might be a little different in some areas, or it may resonate differently, or you may say things differently, and it's helping that player out better.
Mhm.
Other cases, they're stepping on each other's toes, and it's a
Right.
big mess. So there's that.
That.
All right. So moving on, you've asked me before, which I don't think it's crazy, but again, now that you say it, I'm like, okay, maybe you're right. You said, okay, how would I explain my crazy coaching to other people? When you say that, what do you mean?
Okay, it's not like it's all the time, obviously,
Sure.
but it's like
I don't. Now again, it's not an insult to me. Obviously,
right.
I laugh about it because
I'm sure every parent has been sitting there like, what is he doing? Because they're not in your head. And I mean, we've sat in the dugout and been like, what just happened?
yeah,
Like, and I was giving you the example, like, we'd all be running around on the bases. You're trying to steal somebody, but we don't know what's going on. You're only talking to, like, third base, girl on third.
right.
Like, we're just trying to figure it out. You're screaming, like, everybody knows what we're doing. You're yelling it out loud, or like, you're like, no, get her, or you're stealing. And parents are probably like, what is this going to help?
Why is he doing that?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. I love, last week's show I talked a little bit about pretty much giving the green light to players a lot,
Mhm.
on stealing, and just my aggressive approach when it comes to base running, and
Stealing our slower growth.
yes,
Yeah.
doing stuff like that, and again, doing things in strategic moments, and sometimes of course it's gotten us in trouble, but the majority of the time it worked, so, or it works. So I'm looking at that and I'm going, okay, well, and again, I evaluate myself just like I evaluate you guys. But when we talk through the base stealing and all that jazz, you know, the main thing is trying to, as I mentioned last week, how can I get as many people in scoring position as possible,
Mhm.
and how can I do it in a way that is going to keep the defense on its toes?
Right.
And thinking, because here's the thing, when I'm yelling at the girl on first base, hey, you're stealing, like I'm not giving her a sign, it's just me vocalizing that. All of that is honestly is me just trying to get in somebody's head. And if it can get in the right person's head, then that's a win for me. And the right person is either the coach, the pitcher, or the catcher.
Mm-hmm.
If it can get into one of their three heads, that's a win, right? And so it's making them think about me and what I'm doing, right? So it's basically, to me, I'm like, how can I get my player that's still in that bag an extra advantage, right? It may be reverse psychology, right? Because it's like you're literally yelling, "Hey, you're stealing." So like now everybody knows she's stealing. How is that an advantage? Well, one, sometimes when catchers are too ready to throw down,
Mm-hmm.
they make mistakes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when pitchers know people are going to steal, usually you're going to throw a pitch out. You're going to throw a high fastball. So maybe I'm going to get a free ball out of that for my batter,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's other thoughts that I'm having in that moment of going, okay, if I can get one of these wins right here, that puts us in a better spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, there's, and I know there's other things that you can probably point to about my quote unquote crazy coaching, but it's definitely, I wouldn't call it a show. That's probably excessive, but like, I've watched video of some of our games, and I'm like,
You jumping,
yeah,
running down the baseball.
yes. I'm like chasing you guys down the line or whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoy what I do for sure. Like, I love that strategy of the game. My mom bought me a chess set for Christmas because I think at some point last year I'm like, I want to learn how to play chess. And I feel like that's what I'm doing though on the ball field. Like I'm trying to be there's I don't like to walk into any rooms in my business world where I'm the smartest person in the room. Like I try to learn from everybody. But on the field, my goal is to win that coaching battle,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if I can outsmart a coach, if that's worth an extra half a run or a run in a game, in a tight ball game, then that would be the thing that makes a difference,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, on the same token, things that I've done or calls that I've made have cost us a run, right? And that's made a difference too. And so, but you just kind of weigh it out and you go, okay, well, it flushes itself out, and hopefully it works out for the best for the team. So, anyway, that's my explanation on that. I love it. So, next one here is when we hear the term "own your recruiting process." For you, what does that mean?
Well, I definitely didn't know what to do, but obviously you had been through it like a few times with the girls before me. You just have to reach out. Like they're so busy. Coaches are so busy.
Yeah.
Like collegiate ball, like that schedule's crazy. And they're not gonna immediately respond usually. Or either you have to go through their assistant coach or whoever's doing the recruiting. Like it may not even be them. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why they're not responding. But you gotta be vocal, put yourself out there. Don't be scared. I mean, they're used to it anyway.
Right.
Just make sure your email actually sounds right, structured. Like I'm sure they get girls. I mean, that probably gives you a leg up. Girls probably don't know what they're doing. Like know what to say, be clear, concise. Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then follow up. If they don't message you back, I mean, don't do it like a couple hours later. You could wait like a little while. I mean, 48, maybe a little more if you don't want to. I mean, it could.
Yeah,
But
2 to
don't
3
go
days.
over like a week or nothing.
No.
Like, you want to seem interested too.
Right.
So.
I think it's and again, everything you just said I think is spot on, but I also don't ever want to give the indication like, hey, you got to go do this on your own by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think part of owning the recruiting process for yourself is reaching out for help when you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? And because all of us at some point or another didn't know how this worked. Right? And so if that is you in that situation, like have enough courage to just open your mouth and ask a coach, right? Like, would you say that's fair in doing that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's still like, I'm sure there's still some coaches that don't like know where to go in that standpoint. Like, I mean, and you taught yourself, I guess, how to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just gotta see what works, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was very much trial, like for Tab and Mia.
Mhm.
It was trial and error back in, that was, I guess so we had two players in our Elite Diamonds organization that um, committed to colleges back in 2020, and so we started their process in 2019
Mhm.
that summer, and I had no idea what I was doing at all. Like I didn't even know where to start, and so my strategy now has, evolved some, but like, and it's gotten more crisp and, fine tuned and making sure I'm making the best use of the time that I'm spending. But yeah, like I said, more self taught on that front. But I think that the player, though, specifically, I don't think it ever makes sense to do it by yourself if you don't have to.
Right.
That's all I'm saying with that. And I think, there's a lot of ways to own your recruiting process out there, guys. Like you can, of course, you can pay somebody to do that, thousands upon thousands of dollars. I know there's people out there who do that so they don't have to do anything. Um, I guess if you got it like that, go
Go
for it.
ahead.
I know I did. I know my parents didn't have it like that, and the majority of the country doesn't. So in that case, you've got to rely on people who, hopefully care about you, and are going to be willing to put in some sweat equity to, you know, help you get to where you're trying to go, or some semblance of that,
Mhm.
from a ball standpoint. But when I hear that term, though, immediately I think, okay, I'm full out going after this like I want it, and whether it's me going at it by myself or me having somebody in my corner, I don't want anybody around me ever to think or doubt that I want this,
Mhm.
right? And so the effort that I'm putting into it off the field, right? It's like you mentioned earlier, the communication, the emailing, the phone calls, the messages, whatever, whether it's we're shooting videos out, or I know a lot of people use Twitter now or X to, connect with coaches and whatnot. So but at no point do I want to feel like somebody's time is being wasted because of me, right?
Yeah.
And so I ultimately, guys, that would be my encouragement to you with owning your recruiting process is that you make sure that it's something. One, you got to do a self evaluation and make sure that that's something that you want. And if you do want that, then go get it. With the hopefully with the help of the people around you is what I would say on that front. So. All right, so you've got some pointers for us before we wrap up this segment. And um, sorry, catchers, pitchers, infielders, this isn't really for you. Maybe it can be a little bit, um, but this is mainly for the outfielders out there because, and actually, I think this can apply to some of the other positions as well, honestly. Um, but I know so often, like I've even had it with some players early on in my coaching career, like people look at outfield as being demoted, which drives me nuts, man. I'm like, what? Like I don't know. I loved the green, and so I loved being out there as a player when I wasn't on the mound, and so I took pride in being able to like one. If you're in the outfield, that meant you were fast, and so and typically, and so that meant you were fast, or you could catch well, you could lay out for stuff, and you had a cannon of an arm. Like one of those two things, three things could be true, or all of them. So, but in the same token, some people in Little League, though, they just kind of get pushed to the
Right.
outfield because the ball doesn't go out there very often.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it does go out there, you're not really expected to do anything like.
Well, really, I think with the younger stuff, that's basically how I got started in the outfield, and then just owned it, I guess.
Yeah. So talk to me. I know you had a couple of pointers that you wanted to just I guess share with the audience today, and I know one of them that we talked about was not overthinking what you're doing.
Mhm.
So talk me through that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
When I go out there, I feel like that's the easy part is fielding. I feel like I tend to get way more in my head at the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think people could agree with that. Like,
Sure.
but if I overthink out there, I'm gonna, ground ball, try to work through it, go something.
Yeah.
Like I can't think. And it's also with like if you're gonna die, you can't think about that. You can't slow down
Right.
on a pop up. You can't slow down when you're about to die. Like if you do that, you're done for.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think you have to trust yourself once you get out. Because once you're in the field, what else are you gonna do? You've been working, you've been at practice, like you just gotta do your thing. And I feel like you can't think. You're gonna hurt yourself.
Right. That's
You're gonna hurt
always, yeah,
yourself.
exactly. Like that's one of my things, man. It's like you are risking injury when you overthink.
Yeah.
Because you start to just do stuff that your body isn't, that you haven't trained your body
Yeah.
to do.
And I remember being like younger player, being like insecure to actually like hustle. Like, oh, I'm gonna look stupid. No.
Crazy.
Yeah. But it's like I think that's the thing that comes with like I guess girls maybe, I don't know. Like I'd be worried about how I'm gonna look doing this or like if I go all out and I mess up.
Yeah.
Okay, at least I tried. I'm not standing there and the ball I could have caught is like
Yeah.
sitting on the ground right there.
No, it was on the
Crying.
boys' side too, though, because it
Yeah.
was like, hey, I want to be too cool for this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's like a team thing, I guess too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, what?
Work.
We're trying to get the out,
Yeah.
my guy. Like, what are you talking about? Too cool. Like, get out of the outfield, then. You go sit on the bench. Man, I swear, man. There's a couple guys that I played ball with, and it was like they almost came on the field with this aura of like, I'm too good for this,
Mhm.
and that would instantly irk my nerves.
Yeah.
But then when you're like, okay, fine, you're too good for it, great, or you're too good for us, maybe. So show us, and then they come out and they're like, just
Can't.
yeah. I'm like, wow. So you stink basically. So, but anyway, so not overthinking. I think that's important, obviously, but also for outfielders, like you're the last line of defense,
Mhm.
right? Like ball gets by you, it's going to defense, and then people are running forever,
Yeah.
basically. So, you want to make sure you don't overthink things. The second one you talked about was just communication and then pre-pitch reassurance. So, to me, communication is a given, but when you
Right.
say pre-pitch reassurance, I think that's a next level thought for some. What are we saying when we say that?
So when I was thinking about that, I was just like, I can remember times that I'd be out there in center or wherever I was, and I'd be like hollering at the person next to me because it's a
A little
little bit of a
far.
distance right
Yep.
there. And I'm like, hey, I got you. We're doing this. Like, if you do this, I'm doing this. Like just telling them, like, you can go for that. You can do this. I'm gonna be behind you. Like, I'll get over there. Like,
Yeah.
or if this is happening, I'm covering this. I got, it's just the stuff where it's like, you can get like mindless in the game. Like,
Mhm.
sometimes you are just, people will like days off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of easy sometimes. You're not getting any action or something. And it's just like, stay alert, keep them awake. I mean, not even that. It's just, you know, we can do the different things, like the next level
Yeah.
things. Like I'll be there with you. That kind of.
How often were you doing that? Like, how often did you find yourself communicating with your outfielders?
I mean, and I told you earlier. I feel like it was like kind of as needed basis, like
Mhm.
or if I felt like we were slowing down or the energy is bad or it's a really intense moment
Right.
or if it's somebody who's not usually out there with me, or a newer girl or anything like that. Like I just like I got you,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
That's good. And I think just those simple words of "I got you," uh, again, it's reassuring
Mhm.
them, and I think it provides a level of comfort. Like if you got
Yeah.
somebody in right field, left field, or whatever on either side of you, they don't feel like they're on an island by
Mhm.
themselves. Because the outfield can be so big and can seem
Right.
daunting, and it is a lot of area to cover in comparison to the infield per se. Um, and so to know that somebody's got your back, I feel like that allows you to play even more free.
Mhm.
Because to me, knowing that one of my guys had my back, well, that means I feel I have that much more courage to lay out for a ball.
Yep.
I know if it gets by me, like he's there.
Right.
So I think it has a lot of advantages. That communication, that reassurance is big. So the last pointer that you mentioned was reading the ball, always expecting the ball to you. Why did you find that an important thing when you were playing?
Well, reading the ball in like, I don't know, I guess a selfish way, I'd rather be in center. That
Yeah.
read is so like straight up. Like I wouldn't struggle to the point of like doing terrible, but if you're on the sides, I feel like it's a different look. It looks different
It's
coming off the
tough.
bat. Like especially if you're not consistently in that spot. Like it's just a different look.
And the spin is different.
Yeah, the
Going,
tail.
you got a tail either way.
Yeah. And I mean, you can see exactly when you're in center, you can see where that pitch is. You can also like anticipate
Yep.
where like that first step. I mean, first step's always important if you're gonna stutter. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you can make up for it, sometimes you can't. You just cause yourself.
Yep.
But reading is always important. That seems like a basic thing, but if you're thinking in the sense of, or if you have pitch cards, like you're working ahead, you know where to expect it as long as she's hitting her spot. Know who the batter is, how they're standing. Like read the field, read the players, that kind of thing too.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think that like those I think the only read that would get me in center field sometimes was that line drive, man. That's
Can't
straight at
stand that crap.
that's it almost feels like it's coming right at your nose or like right over the top
No,
of
just
you. And so I don't know which way to break.
Yep.
Or should I go forward or not? I
Yeah.
don't know. So it's
That's a hard one.
yeah, those are the tough ones. But outside of those, like you said, it's to me I enjoyed center field one because of the ground to be covered. I just love being able to cover the gaps.
You just feel like you're flying sometimes.
You do,
Like
man.
you can't stop.
No, you're just
Pick up some speed.
you're just going. So I feel like a track star out there sometimes. So, well, good. Let's take another quick break, and we're gonna jump back in, guys. To I think we got like 4 or 5 open book segment questions from our audience, and then we'll answer those for you guys. Take one more break after that, and we'll wrap up the show. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for pausing again. So I wanted to let you know about Impact Financial Alliance. We're in the financial services world and we do everything under the sun, from helping people create an emergency fund, eliminate debt, save for retirement, you name it. We have the resources, we have the people in place to be able to help you do that. So if you're looking for advice on that from a financial standpoint, check us out at impactfinancialalliance.com, or you can connect with me directly and I'd be glad to point you in the right direction. Thanks so much, and let's get you back to the show. Hey guys, welcome once again to the show. So we're going to jump right into our open book segment. Got 5 questions here for you today. And this first one is from Portia E. And she asks, what can I do if I'm struggling with my confidence? So Kyra, I'm going to let you start this one off, and I'll piggyback off you. What you got?
I think if it's from a player standpoint,
Yeah.
which, I mean, you just have to trust yourself. And if you're doing everything you can, then don't overthink it. That's probably what it is. Overthinking really just like kills your mind.
Yeah.
Like it messes with you.
I agree. I think I've got like in my mind, I kind of put overthinking and pressure in similar boats on that, because a lot of times I feel like the pressure is really what does it to you with your confidence. You know what I mean? And usually it's self-applied, right? Like some cases it's from coaches or parents or expectations maybe putting that pressure on us, but usually it's just us getting in our heads.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody say one time, like, feeling that type of pressure like that is honestly kind of selfish. That's not a team mentality type thought, because you're basically telling yourself or convincing yourself in that moment that this game is all on me,
Right.
when really you're one of 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Portia, I mean, I guess to further elaborate on that or answer your question, like if you're struggling with your confidence, I think there's a couple of things that you can do. I mean, I feel like finding some reading materials to help you with that, consult with your coaches about it to see how they can help your specific situation and kind of diagnose, so to speak, why you're struggling with your confidence? Is that because your game is lacking in comparison to your peers? I guess there's multiple different reasons why you
Yeah.
could be struggling, right?
I mean, things like if you're in a slump, it'll always work out. It always works out.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, but
Yeah,
don't overthink.
don't overthink it.
Yeah.
That's best advice either of us could give you on that one. So, okay, next question, which putting Kyra on the spot here because she's gonna be having a little guessing game
Oh gosh.
here. Okay, so we got 4 more questions,
Okay.
and I'm gonna ask you if you can guess who asked the question. Now, these are people that you know.
Like I know.
Yes,
Okay.
you know them very well.
Okay.
All right. So, first question, and these are all for you, by the way.
Oh great.
All right. So, first question is, what grew your love and grit for the game? Any idea who asked you that one? I'll only give you one guess. So,
Sounds like something my mom would say.
that's a fair guess. That was actually Emma Warnock.
Oh.
She
Okay,
wanted to ask you. So, what grew your love and grit ultimately for the game?
I don't even know. Like I was just played for so long. I didn't really get into any sports. I mean, I got into track in high school, but it's just softball's different. I don't know. And I guess working so hard for it,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, a, this is a serious game. Like I love doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's fun, and then it starts coming natural. Like it's just I get out there and it'd be fun. Like I want to shag balls. I used to love shagging balls at
Oh, yeah.
practice. I'm running. Like I don't even care. I'm out of breath huffing. Like it's just turned into like a fun thing versus like if you ever have to be like I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
That's probably an issue.
Sure. No doubt. And I know watching you. I mean, I can definitely attest to the fact that you wanted to shag balls because I feel like you always wanted to be out there. And to me, I feel like you loved the outfield in general.
Dirt makes me nervous.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of,
I hate the dirt. Oh my gosh.
do you remember your very first tryout / workout for the team?
That was terrible.
You're at third base.
Third of all places.
Third base.
I don't play third.
Y'all, Kyra does not play third base. I don't think you touched third ever. Did you?
It's because I was playing in JV. That was probably part of that whole. I was playing third base in JV, and whatever happened at that tryout, it happened in games.
Yeah.
I got megged. Like, and it was back to back. They were killing me.
Ooh, I just remember because you're like I play a little third base too. That's what you told me. You know.
I dabble.
And yeah, do a little something.
I stand there. I stand at third.
Yeah. But no dirt for Kyra. But man, I just like I said, I remember watching you play the game, and I'm like, first of all, you always look so graceful in the outfield, and I'm like, yeah, that's caught. Just I remember. I mean, there's and very few players. I'd say Maddie as well is in this boat, but like probably the two of you about it. We would if we had 2 outs and it's a fly ball in y'all's reach at all, I'm walking out of the dugout already as a coach. Like they got it. And usually you did. So anyway, that's the first question. Second or third one rather now is you got to guess this one too.
I don't like this guessing game.
Actually, I'm gonna skip that one and go to the next one. All right, so I love this question. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing right now?
I knew I couldn't fail.
If you knew you couldn't fail.
Can I get a hint? These are hard.
This one is from a former teammate with Elite Diamonds. Yeah, that's the hint.
Like older?
Older than who?
Older than me.
I'm not telling you that. That's so easy at that point.
I feel like that's a stretch. I don't know. There's so many.
She's she's a good outfielder too.
Tab.
Yep.
I knew it was Tab. Okay.
Tabitha Mims. So if you knew you couldn't fail, she actually sent me 3 questions for you, but I chose this one. But if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing right now?
Dang. Like, is this like a dream job kind of question? Like a could
Whatever
be
you want it to be. I mean,
anything.
I've got an answer
Oh
for it too,
man.
so I'm gonna give you more time to think about that. But I'm
Okay,
gonna,
you go ahead.
so something that we talked about this earlier while we were hitting today of like not really having a dream job, so to
Yeah.
speak. But I'll tell you, if I knew I couldn't fail, I would be refereeing NBA basketball right now. Like seriously, I've the love now I have that I've grown for refereeing basketball is more than I ever thought it could be. I'm like, why would I love that? Like that's not even for a while. I was like, why would I do that? Like, because I used to not like umpires. They used to always tick me off as a player, or I used to
Yeah.
always feel like I had to do I had to work them over or whatever just to get them on my side, right? So I'm like, why would I ever want to be on that side of the coin? But now as a referee, I'm like, I love this. So I'd say that would be my answer right now. If I knew I couldn't fail, I would go do that.
I guess I'll go with like this is probably the closest thing to a dream job I
Okay.
have is athletic training.
Really?
I still want to be an athletic trainer, but I just don't think it's like doable for it's so hard to have like a normal life. Like especially if you're, I mean you start out your career whenever you're in your like life starting years basically. Like
Yeah.
your 20s, late 20s, whatever. Their schedule is crazy. But I want to work with athletes so bad.
Yeah.
But they also don't make a lot of money.
Now, does it matter what level? Like, does it matter at all? Or?
Collegiate would be ideal
Okay.
for sure. I don't know about pro, because then, big cities pro teams and all. I mean, big cities for collegiate teams,
Sure.
but you can get away with, like, somewhere else.
Yeah.
But they just don't make enough money for what they do.
What do they make?
I
Do you
mean,
know?
looking it up, I feel like there's an average of, like, 50.
That's it?
Yeah.
I know some colleges out there. I know Division 1 may be a little different, like the major schools, but some colleges out there only have one athletic trainer for the entire campus.
It's crazy. And when I was at Aiken, our athletic trainer was stretched, like, thin. I mean, when our athletic trainer at GMC, I know he left, he got another job. Like, it's just, they're typically, like, pushed to their limits, I feel like. Like, why isn't there multiple?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I don't know what a safe like student to athletic trainer ratio should be, but I feel like the entire campus is way too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy at Aiken had, like, an assistant. And they were looking for an assistant for him. And the other one, I mean, they had the JUCO and all the middle school, high school, we all had access to the athletic training facilities.
Oh
Like
my
it
gosh,
wasn't just the JUCO.
at GMC.
Yes. Like we could go in there and like Theragun, ice, whatever. And they had like 3, 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know at Aiken, like what, like 16 plus teams,
I mean,
athletic teams or something like that. I know that was a crazy number.
they they have like a horse riding thing, but it's not quite like official, I don't think. They have, soccer, basketball,
Right.
men's and women's,
Remember they have esports.
volleyball, esports, but
Yeah.
I don't know how often they're going to the trainer room.
You never know, man.
But
Those thumbs.
yeah, softball, baseball. I mean, they didn't have football, but that's still a good. But that's too much for one
So for
person.
one person, yeah.
Two people. It's crazy, and the hours are just crazy too.
Sure.
Especially if you're not having enough. Like somebody's not getting an athletic trainer at their game.
So when you say it's tough to lead a normal life, like what what is normal?
It's not a 9 to 5 ever.
Okay.
Like, well, one you have to think about winter sports games. In college, they're in the middle of the day, or they're hours away.
Right.
And in at the high school level, they're always at night. But you're gonna have been there all day too.
True.
So I mean, a football game that you're there taping ankles and you're there after with injuries.
Yeah.
What?
It's a lot.
That's like 12 hours.
Yeah, it's a lot for the time. I'm sure the money that you make, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. But I mean, it's definitely a much needed thing, right? I
Right.
mean, it's just having somebody that knows what they're doing. The nature of any competition athletically, I think you got to have that. So
Yeah.
for sure. All right, next one. Um, what was your biggest adversity that you overcame as a player or in life, and how did you do it, and what advice would you give to others?
It's a player too.
It's not a player, but it's somebody who knows you well.
It's my mom. I feel like she has a question in here.
It's not your mom, but it's your dad.
Makes sense.
It's your dad. So I'll ask again real fast. So, what was your biggest adversity that you overcame as a player or in life? And how did you do it? And what advice would you give to others?
Well, the sophomore year, that could definitely be one. And then my decision to quit playing college ball is also another.
Yeah.
I would say. So we've already obviously talked about the softball, the sophomore year, school ball, all that.
High school, yep.
And it took a lot to go through with that softball, but it also took a lot to stop in college. That was more of like I didn't really feel like I had to like prove myself to keep going. Like I definitely thought about how people would look at it, like I couldn't handle it or whatever. But it was really more of, can I deal with this mentally? Like it wasn't, oh, this is so hard. Like I can't do these workouts. I did the whole preseason thing. Like I decided to quit over the break.
Right.
Like I went through everything. I was sitting in my couch and I was like, I can't go back.
Yeah, it was a year ago this month.
Yeah.
That you called me.
Yeah, it came up with my memories.
Did it really?
Yeah, a picture. It's like I quit today.
Yeah.
But gosh, it's just, that's a hard decision to like, cause I mean and we've talked about this. I've never not played ball. Like, what am I doing now? Like, I try to identify with stuff, and it's like, yeah, I play collegiate ball. No, not anymore. Like,
right.
It's like, okay, I like to work out now.
A lot.
I work too. I go to school. Like, I feel it's hard because that's my thing. Like, it was always my thing.
Right.
And it's just trying to work past that and then figure everything out is just, it's crazy.
So let me ask you this. With that piece of adversity that you went through, I mean, obviously that was a tough decision. That was a tough just go and trying to figure out, okay, should I do this? What are other people going to think? When you look back on it, where you're removed from making that decision, the people who mattered in your life, what was their reaction like?
Oh, they're just worried about how, like, oh, about me. Like, they don't care that I won't play softball.
Right.
But
that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I love that you're being vulnerable about that, because to me, like when you called me.
Oh, oh my God, I felt so bad. Because like you worked harder, like it almost felt like you worked harder than me for that.
Oh, baloney.
Like
I did not get what you went through for that semester.
No, but it's like I didn't want to feel like I wasted your time. Like that's such a hard decision because it affects, I mean, I guess it didn't really affect you like in a sense of your like day to day or anything,
Sure.
But I feel like there's like letting people down in a sense, but like you said, the people that care about me didn't care.
Nope. No. And, you know, fine, would I've loved to see you, you know, come support you, play, whatever. Yeah. But, you know, I think that's my larger point, is that when you talk about the people who matter in your life and the people who truly care about you, like, they're not going to give a dang about that.
Right.
It's about you. Like, when you called me, my first thought was, I just want you to be good. I want you to be happy with what you're doing. I want you to be happy with that decision. And let's try to make progress.
Right.
Let's not sit on this side of the speed bump too long. But let's go ahead and get over that, and we'll move on. And, you know, you obviously talked about making a plan to go to Augusta University at that point to be a common student, and now you're there.
NARP.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, yeah, I mean, that was a tough time, but I don't think it lasted longer than it should have.
Right.
Which, to me, that was, I'm not going to get emotional, but that was important to me, that you did not, that you didn't make a decision that you were going to regret because of other people.
Yeah.
Right. And even though you should not have been weird or scared or whatever about calling me. I just because you know how I feel about you, and
Yeah.
and you know how the other people in your circle feel about you. So that's good. All right, so last one, and I think you're gonna get this one right away. You should, but I don't know. You've been over 3, so we'll see.
I suck at this.
All right. So, what has our friendship taught you, and what advice would you give others in order to maintain a friendship for as long as we have?
This isn't a player.
No, it's not a player.
Delaney?
It is Delaney.
You asked Delaney. That's the only reason I was like, I don't think. Oh my god.
Yeah. So I'll ask again. So, what has our friendship taught you, and what advice would you give others in order to maintain a friendship for as long as we have?
Oh my gosh. I don't even like. It's crazy because I call Delaney. Delaney's literally like my platonic soulmate.
Yeah.
Like we don't even. We're not the same. And I have yelled at Delaney like we don't. People would be like, y'all are not friends probably if they like day to day. There's no way. And then like we work together, we have new people, and they're like, oh, you know her, like, because I'll be saying whatever to her, and they're like, oh, y'all are like familiar, okay, like, but oh my gosh, it's crazy to. I wouldn't say it's like a sister thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like crazy to be so close and so similar to somebody, and like she knows everything about me, but she's never upset with me for anything.
Yeah.
Like I can tell her anything, and it's like I'm still Kyra, she's still Delaney, like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
An advice? I don't know. It's really hard to find your people. I got lucky. 6th grade gym class with Delaney. I remember we're changing in a corner, it's like middle school stuff. It's awkward. It's weird. We just all got our gym bags. We're all getting ready. And that's like where we met gym class. I mean, we kind of knew of each other.
Yeah.
But 6th grade gym class. I just got lucky. It's crazy.
It is.
Because, like, it's just really, it's hard to find your person, like, somebody that you get along with. I tell Delaney all the time, like, I don't like other people. Like, I don't know how people just have these, like, casual friends. Like, I can have casual friends,
Right.
but it's not people I'm going to go out of my way with to, hang out with, like, go out of my way. I want to surround myself with people that, think like me, like, really care about me.
Sure.
You just have to be like a good judge of character too when picking your people.
Yes. And just that, I think that advice alone can take everybody that's listening go a long way.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like you're the judge and you have a gavel and
Yeah.
you're like, like being judgmental that way. It's not in that sense, but it's more of like, okay, like, do I have commonalities with this person, and am I okay with their faults?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's from best friendship to even a relationship, dating, obviously, where you just want to be able to do life with these people, and you're okay with whatever comes with their package, right?
And we've literally been through like everything, like huge stuff, and it's just, it's crazy.
It is. I mean, I'm pretty sure for as long as I've known you, Delaney's been in the picture.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't. I mean, I never, as your coach once upon a time, I never felt like Delaney was somebody that would ever steer you away from your dream. And to me, that was important because I knew that part of your dream involved softball. And obviously, I was willing to help you achieve that, right? But I've seen where there's been relationships out there, whether it's a dating situation or a friendship situation for some people, where it's like okay, that friend is not an athlete, or maybe that friend is not, they don't have anything to do with your love for this sport or
Mhm.
any sport, whatever, and it's become toxic to some degree
Yeah.
because they're trying to pull you away from it.
Yeah, want you to
Because,
do other things, like
right,
fun things,
fun
like
things, go do the
whatever.
fun stuff,
Mhm.
right? And so I'm sure there were many opportunities where, Delaney wanted to help out, or hang out, but it's like, I got softball or whatever. And I don't know, man. Like you said, you did get lucky or fortunate or blessed, whatever you want to call that. And so did she, right? But I feel like when you found that person or those people in your life, man, who just love you no matter what,
Yeah.
and you know it though, like you can feel it. It's not. It's genuine.
Mhm.
It's authentic, and you just feel good about it.
Yeah.
And like I think about my guy Pistro. I mean, he lives on the entire
Right.
other side of the country, but we talk a lot
Yeah.
about a lot of deep stuff, and nobody knows me better than he does outside of my wife, maybe,
Yeah.
and I guess Aubrey now, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy to have those types of people in your life. So anyway, I didn't mean to make you get emotional on that one at all, but guys, we're gonna take a quick break, grab some tissue, and we'll be right back. Hey guys, thanks for pausing one last time. I hope you've been enjoying the show. I hope you enjoyed that last segment, just Kyra kind of being real with us with those open book segment questions. That kid means the world to me. She's not a kid anymore, she's an adult, but spent a lot of time with her on the ball field and off of it, just doing life together. And it's always a blessing to be able to have people in your life who care about you, who love you. And this pause right here is not for an ad at all. Actually, it's just to be able to share, some encouragement to you all. Just I encourage you to find your person, find your people, like she talked about in that last segment. But also find those people, those adults in your life, who are going to care about you enough to make sure that it's not about what you do. It's not about what you can offer them. It's really strictly about just simply loving and caring about the person versus what they do. So again, just wanted to pause one last time with you guys. Thank you for tuning into the show. Let's get you right back into this thing in the last 15 minutes, and we'll get you out of here. Thanks. Okay, guys, welcome back to the show one last time. Hope you enjoyed our last segment there. So, just want to talk a little bit about life beyond the diamond for Kyra as we kind of wrap up here. So, Sticks, now that you're stepping into adulthood, you're looking at this big picture wise. I mean, obviously, you're going to graduate in a couple of years, is the plan, right?
Yeah.
What are you hoping to accomplish in the next 3 to 5 years?
Hopefully, undergrad is
Yep.
done.
Sure.
I mean, that should be within like less than 3 years. And right now I'm still so back and forth on what I'm gonna do. But I'm on a pre-PT track, kinesiology major. So obviously I'm headed towards PT. So if
Right.
I stick with that, I'll be in PT school, hopefully made it there, past the, tests and the meetings and all that to get in. And I'd probably still be working on that.
So what all is required to be able to get through that process? Do you know yet?
Yeah, that's the bad part. I don't know a whole lot. I know there's like GRE, you have to, keep a certain GPA. I feel like I think there is like interviews for that,
Okay.
and you have to have, I believe it's 100 hours in clinical and like outpatient and like hospital setting.
Right. And
So
you can do all of that at Augusta University where you are right now, right?
I'm sure I could, but I'm going home this summer to do at a clinic to get some hours at a clinic, and then because I feel like it'd be a lot harder to get an internship in the Augusta area. Like they're probably all looking for that.
Right.
And hopefully this class I'm taking, like I could do some networking because it's a kinesiology class. Hopefully my teacher, maybe that's where I can do my,
Yeah.
like in-house hours kind of thing, like within a hospital there. But yeah, just gotta get that done.
Okay.
I feel a little behind.
No, I got you. I get that. I mean, and I'm sure that can kind of stress you out a little bit,
Yeah.
just having that weight. But I'm sure as you kind of get things going, you'll get the flow of it, get the hang of it.
Yeah.
But I sense some animosity to the city of Augusta sometimes when we talk about it. What's the deal there?
They're crazy. They're another breed. Augusta stinks.
Like literally?
Yes. I walk out of my apartment frequently, like, it stinks. It smells like trash.
Oh my gosh.
Like I look over, no trash bags are left out. I walk down the stairs, oh, it's literally just the air. It smells like trash or it smells like paper mill.
Oh my
I
gosh.
didn't even know we had a paper mill in Augusta. I'm only used to going down the interstate. What is it, 75 or
Or 20, yeah.
20?
Yep.
It stinks every time you hit that one spot. It smells like paper mill. Like, I can't do this. It smells like that in Augusta. You ride around. They
So-
can't drive.
Oh Lord.
Like, if you're familiar with Augusta, it's like Wrightsboro Road, Washington Road. Well, I live near Wrightsboro.
Yep.
I think I was telling you, the school shuttle bus pulled out in front of me while it was raining. Like, did not stop at the where they were.
Got to
Just
get those kids to class, man.
Pulled out in front of me, whatever it takes. We're driving a few more feet. There's a car. It's a 4-lane highway, separated in the middle by like the turning lane. There's somebody riding right next to me. I'm in the far right lane. They're riding in the wrong direction. I hear horns honking. I'm like, I just can't even do this. They go past me. I'm like, what's happening? Like, they can't drive. The Walmart, I cannot deal with the Walmart there either.
Oh
like,
my
Walmart's
gosh.
already Walmart sometimes.
Yeah.
But that Walmart is something else.
Okay, I have to admit, everybody that I've ever talked to that's lived in Augusta mentions Washington Road and Wrightsboro Road, like
Yep.
as that's just not good. So
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get that. So pivoting a little bit to your work life balance, like how have you been able to balance keeping your body in shape? Because I just based off of your Instagram post or whatever you're posting on Snap or whatever, like it seems like you're keeping your body in shape well, which sometimes for athletes, former athletes, that can be a struggle to do. So how have you found that balance to do that while also working, going to class?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. And I don't always like get a workout in that day, or I probably don't work out as hard as I should. That's another thing with like, you're used to being pushed all the time. Like,
Right.
now I have to go by myself. So it's like, it's just me pushing me. Like, I have to, actually up the weight, finish this set. Like, I have to hold myself accountable. And it's hard to fit it in because I don't work in the mornings. I have class. It goes like, we have 10 to 4 in the mornings for
Mhm.
work. So it's like, I can't really do that. So I try to work nights usually, take some time off for school in between that too. Like, I have like days that I just study. And some days you get home at like 10, some days it's like 12. So
Yeah, not trying to.
it's hard with that because it's not set hours. But I also feel like serving is like the best way for me to make money right now because I can make more than like typical hourly wage starting out.
Makes sense.
So I just try to stay on top of school, even though it doesn't always happen,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, it's like that sometimes.
It's the nature of the beast, though.
Right.
Yep.
Working out's it's hard to find the energy to do that too when you have so much going on. And like, NARP life can be easy if you don't have responsibilities.
Right.
Like, I don't have people paying for all my stuff. Like, I definitely have help, but I pay my rent, I pay like my utilities, I do all that, buy my
Yep.
food. Like, it's just, I got stuff I gotta do. So it's not like I can just go to school and work out and that be that. Like, I have real things, and food and beverage is no joke. Like, customers are,
Oof,
ooh,
they can be
and you
ruthless.
have to just shut up and deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you're talking to another person like that.
Sure.
So it's like, especially coming home after that, I'm not gonna go at night, so I have to basically fit it into my morning routine now, and I'm not a morning person. So I try to go in the morning. Didn't go this morning did not sleep good last night. I was like turning that alarm off. Like, sleep is important. So
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I was like, I'll figure it out. We're gonna hit. Maybe my heart rate will go up a little bit.
We'll get something done. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think that like, especially for athletes, like former athletes, and or even if you're not an athlete, it doesn't matter. But like, I feel like you got to find that new purpose because, like you said, you were being pushed every day to go work out, and you're pushing so that when you hit the field, you avoid injuries and you can perform at top peak level, right?
Right.
Now I think the motivation part of it has to be one, just simply having a healthy lifestyle and the importance of that. Like I've watched former athletes' bodies just completely fail them
Mm-hmm.
because of just health issues. On the other side of it, I've watched athletes fail their bodies, right? Because they didn't redirect their goals,
Right.
right? And so I always find it admirable when I see people, the months and years or so after they've retired from sports, competitively or whatever, um, being able to continue staying in shape. So I think that's pretty dope that you're doing that. So right now, obviously, there's always, the adulthood. It's overrated. It's for the birds. You hear all that. You get it, and rightfully so in some areas. But there are some good things about adulthood,
Yeah.
that come with getting over that hump from leaving your teenage years and growing to more and being, more of who you can be. For you, so far, you just turned 20
Mm-hmm.
last month, and now you're, whatever, you're still a junior, right? Is it technically a junior
Technically.
now? So, okay, cool. So you're technically a junior in college. What's been good about adulthood for you thus far?
I mean, freedom's always good. Like, my parents not let me do that much. They let my brother do a lot more. And Allie will just straight up tell them, I ain't doing nothing. Y'all don't have to worry about me. Like, Allie's like, I don't want to do anything. Like, I'm not trying to get out of here or nothing. Like, so then Trip will be gone. Nobody knows where he's at. I'm like, why couldn't that be me?
Yeah.
So freedom is one thing, just like being in charge of your day and like everything. And then I do like making money. I mean, if it was one or the other, like school or work, like it'd be a lot easier. But
Mm,
the things combined is what makes it hard.
right.
But it's fun to make money sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. Now, here's the thing. For just because I can feel where your brain's going with that a little bit, and just kind of also we've talked off camera about stuff, but like doing all of this all together, I think is going to do nothing but help you when you're doing just one of them or two of them at a time. Because it's going to feel less, and I think you're going to excel at your craft.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When you figure out, okay, is it PT? Is it athletic training? What is it? What does that look like? You find out what that is, you hone that in, and then you begin to kind of go into the workforce in it. I think you'll be just fine. So I know we're breezing through this segment, guys. So last question that I have for you, and then we're going to go through the thought you should know moment. Going back to ball one last time. What life lessons has our sport taught you, if any?
I mean, I think it's probably taught me more than I actually realized. But I don't know, like giving effort and not like slacking in day to day. Like some people you work with, you just see like they just are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that's probably something I got from that, or maybe even GMC, who knows? But like just actually like working and like doing things like all out. Like, and sometimes you slack off, whatever. Like,
Sure.
but I don't know, just doing what I gotta do and then getting out of there. Like, just get your stuff done and go. That kind of thing. I mean, it teaches you how to work with people. Like we were saying earlier, like different personalities. definitely taught me a lot with that, like playing with different people. But
Right.
that's a big one, I feel like, for life.
I felt like watching you grow up on the field. There was never a time where I felt like you cheated the game.
Mm.
And like you said, part of that could be from just the military portion of GMC could help that. Obviously, I'm sure your parents instilled that in you as well. But you also took things and you respected the game enough to get after it and treated the game the right way, even when you felt shortchanged, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you weren't getting the opportunity that you could have gotten otherwise. So I just, this is for the record, guys. This will be part one of because Kyra's coming back to the show, no doubt, if she's willing to.
So.
Yeah, she'll have to
I guess.
twist her arm, but just so much admiration for you, and to kind of give you guys a sneak peek into next week's episode. I'm gonna share with you guys why my coaching staff and I decided to retire a certain player's jersey number. I won't mention any names of who that may be, but we did retire one of our players. I don't know if you know her or not, but
I'm not sure.
yeah. So anyway, I'll bring that up next episode. But before I give you guys our thought you should know moment, do you have anything else that you want to share with the people today?
I think I'm all good.
You're good. Well, thank you so much, obviously, for coming. Middle of the week, taking your time out of the show to be here, or time out of the day to be on the show. So thought you should know moment today, guys. Real simple. It's actually from an Indian cricket player, which if you've ever seen a game of cricket, kind of an interesting game to play, similar to baseball, but some different rules. But anyway, this Indian cricket player's name is M.S. Dhoni, and he says very simply here: never let success get to your head, and never let failure get to your heart. And I'm just going to leave you guys with that. I'm not going to elaborate on it at all. I'm just going to leave it there because I feel like it's self-explanatory, especially for us who are athletes and coaches and parents and people who are just have responsibilities, which is probably 100% of the people watching this show. So we're going to sign this thing off like we always do. Guys, please let all you do be done in love, because at the end of the day, that's what makes the world go round. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.